Hi guys, today I want to give you some kind of beginner slash intermediate lessons regarding chords and chord tonalities just in the between the open strings and the 5th fret on your bass guitar basically. So what we want to do is look at some of the chord shapes in C major to start with, and I'll show you how they relate to other ways of playing and how they can help you with, just in general, it can really help you free up on your instrument and know what to do when you're improvising. So let's start on the root chord, and we'll just work with that to start with. So what we're going to learn today is a major 7 voicing. I'm actually going to show you how to change the voicing a bit. So we're going to take C on the 3rd fret of the A string. We're going to play it with our 2nd finger. E on the 2nd fret of the D string with our 1st finger. And then the 7th, the major 7th of C is a B natural, which you can find on the 4th fret of the G string there. So for some of you beginning, this will feel tough to play to start with. It might hurt a bit, but what it's going to do is it's going to give you some shapes which you'll come to recognize all over the fretboard in any key eventually, and it's very useful. I'm also going to give you this very simple pattern for your major chord. If you take the first note, if you take the 7th and you drop it down a tone, you bar across with your 1st finger, that gives you a 6, right? And if you play the open G, that gives you just the 5th, the natural 5th. You got a triad there, C, E, G, right? Now this applies to all chords in any tonality. So that's the first chord in C major, and we're going to learn the 7ths, and that trick also applies to any other chord as well. So for example, if you take the 5th of C, which will be a G7, you can also play the pattern from the 7th down to the 5th, which gives you really nice motion. Anyway, so let's learn how to voice the G7. So that we're going to put our 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the E string for G. We're going to put our 2nd finger behind that on the 3rd fret of the D string for F, the 7th, the dominant 7th or flat 7th of G, and then we're going to keep our little finger on the B as it was before in the C chord, C major 7 chord, 4th fret of the G string. That gives you G7. Okay. So there you got that very, very familiar 5-1 sound there. Okay. So that's very useful. I'm also going to show you some of the other key chords in the key of C. The other one, of course, is A minor. And to play an A minor, we're going to take our 1st finger up to the 5th fret for A, root note A, on the E string. We're going to put our, similarly to the G7 chord, it's basically the same shape, except we're dropping the top note down 1 fret. So here you've got A on the 5th fret, G on the 5th fret of the D string, and C natural on the 5th fret of the G string to give you the A minor 7. So that's a very easy chord to play in terms of remembering the shape. The fingering is a little tough. Perhaps for beginners that will feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it's worth getting used to. And then another key chord in the key of C is the D minor 7. This chord here. So for the D minor 7, this is a tough one to voice for beginners especially. We're going to play the 5th fret of the A string with our 3rd finger for D, the root note. We're going to play the 3rd fret of the D string for F, the minor 3rd, with our 1st finger. And we're going to play the C that we just actually played at the A minor, it's the same note, but we're going to play that with our 4th finger on the 5th fret of the G string. So that gives you D, F, C. Okay, so now you have 4 chords. Those are key chords in chord progressions in the key of C. Okay, and of course the other chord that I that I recommend to learn is F major 7, which is right down on the 1st fret. So you're going to play the 1st fret with your 1st finger. You're going to play the major 7th, the E, with your 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and you're going to tuck your little finger in behind that on the 2nd fret of the G string to get the major 3rd A. So you can hear what I just played there was just a series of chords, and it sounds nice and melodic, right? Because all the chords relate to each other. It's a lot of fun. So it's a lot of fun to learn these chords. So that's one thing. I recommend you learn those chords. And you can have fun playing those. The other reason to learn these chords as well is just for improvisation purposes. When you play a C major, you know the major shape for the A string. You can move that up to any note to get another major chord. So if I move the same shape up to F, up on the 8th fret there, I know that's an F major. And it's great for improvising. And similarly on the E string, the E string voicings, you can move all those shapes around. If I take the A minor shape, can move it up to a B, I get a B minor, of course, B minor 7. I'm playing some chords that I haven't showed you yet, but just actually only one in that progression. So it becomes a lot of fun. And then what you can do is you can play the scale. You can play your scale from any given note in that chord, and it's going to sound beautiful and melodic. So it really opens up your world. And also the other application for it is in bass lines as well, especially when you look at slap bass, learning the chords. You know, I'm playing that was all in C major, just using the chords that I played to you today. You can start to get some shapes which are very useful. you can start to use them creatively in your slap playing as well. So chords, learning your chord shapes is really key to opening up your playing. So have fun with that. And also remember, once you've learned your chords down here, what you can do is you can take them all the way up the neck, an octave higher as well.